Good morning, my friends, and welcome back to the Morning Mindset. I hope you're doing well. I hope your mind is at a state that you're ready to sit down and relax and push away all the cares that may be upon you or coming up in this day, and just make a space in your thinking to align your mind with God's truth. Because as we are aligned with His truth, we become able to respond rightly to the situations of life. We become able to live the right way when we're thinking as God thinks about ourselves and the situations we face. Today, I want to help us get our minds aligned with the truth of God by looking at Psalm chapter 118. Psalm 118 is fairly long. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but there are some sections I want to pick out that highlight certain truths. The first is in verse number 1. It says, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His steadfast love endures forever." Now, if you just stop for a moment and read that last phrase, you'll see all of the extremities that are expressed in that verse. His steadfast love. Okay, so it's a love that is steady. It doesn't go away. And then he says that steadfast love endures forever. So it goes on and on and on. It's a statement that mounts up truth on top of truth to help us realize God's love for us is never going to go away. And isn't that great news? Because we do some pretty boneheaded things in life. We revert back to old sin patterns. We say things we didn't really mean to say, but it comes out anyway. We accidentally hurt people. We sometimes intentionally hurt people. We act in selfish ways. We do things that we thought were the best thing in the moment, but find out later it was very hurtful or regrettable. And all of those things could cause us to feel that God's love for us might be diminishing because of our performance. And there's really no other way to say it, right? We feel like God pays us off with love for the way that we behave. That sounds really crass to say it that way, but that's the way that it is. That's the way we tend to think as human beings. But verses like this, to me, are like a little knock on the head to get me to wake up to the fact that God's love for me is not dependent on my performance. Not at all. His steadfast love is what it is. It is steadfast. It goes on and on and on. And not only that, it endures forever. So nothing is ever going to threaten it. Nothing's going to ever knock it off its throne, so to speak. God's steadfast love for us endures forever. And look at the previous line in the verse. Why is that? Because He is good. His steadfast love endures forever because He is good. My friends, we've got to keep this in mind. We need to push ourselves out of that performance-based acceptance mindset that we so easily fall into. And it's a subtle little thing. It sometimes is going on in the background of our thinking. And we find ourselves feeling like God's not happy with us, like He's looking down His nose at us, like He's being critical of us all the time. And the way that I'm coming little by little to understand it is that God feels toward us all the time like we feel toward a tiny infant baby that's just been born. And we hold it in our hands and we look at its beautiful little face and its tiny little eyes and fingers that grip our tiny little finger. And there's something about that experience that just draws us in. We just love that little child. And we feel at that moment there's nothing we wouldn't do for that little helpless one. And that's how our Heavenly Father views us because of His steadfast love. My friends, we need that lesson, don't we? Join me again tomorrow for the Morning Mindset.